go. This is Between Rounds. We're here with one of my favorite dudes in the sport, Mr. Dean Thomas. How's it going?
It's going good, man. I'm just happy to be here. And to be honest, it's a little awkward now because you're on the other side. Normally, I'm on the other side, but now you're on the other side. Yeah. So now I get to sit back and just let you, dig the grave.
Well, I got the shovel. Yeah, don't worry. Yeah. I'm good. I just said this to you outside, but I was doing the research because this is like almost a tribute to the sport for me doing this and doing some study on you. You are an expert at this podcast thing.
I wouldn't say expert. I'd just say bored and just and I just try to take advantage of every and any opportunity that I can get because it's all getting good reps and you just never know who's going to hear the one that you didn't want to do. And, so I try to just do it all, man. Like I don't look at it and go, oh man, how big are they? How many views they got? I go, word, you got one? Let's do it.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
Well, and you've been in the sport a long time. I've been watching you fight since, I don't know. I mean, I started, I guess, training around UFC 3, 2. I always fought Dan Severn, and I kind of knew what jiu-jitsu was at that point in time. So I've watched you, in all your UFC fights. I wasn't necessarily the biggest. I didn't know there was MMA outside, and it wasn't called MMA at the time.
Right. So
Vale Tudo, right?
Yeah. So back then it was it was Vale Tudo, or at that time I was fighting. It was just no holds barred Vale Tudo, and then I had gotten an opportunity to fight in Shudo back in the late '90s. So yeah, it's crazy because I was talking to some of these young jiu-jitsu kids today, and they have no idea who I am. They're like, "What's your name?" And it's like, I'm like, "Man, your father probably knows." But
I'm your mom's favorite.
Yeah,
grappler.
Right, for sure. But they had no idea. And then I was just trying to put things into context. I was talking to the winner, Carlos Henrique. He won the UFC BJJ lightweight title. And I was like, dude, when you were born, like you were 2 years old, I had already fought in the UFC. Like I had fought BJ Penn, and you were 2.
Yeah.
And Andrew Tackett wasn't even born at the time. So
did they even know who BJ Penn was?
Oh, I think one guy mentioned BJ Penn on the panel, but it's just interesting of how much they don't know.
Yeah.
It actually kind of upsets me.
Do you think it's kind of? I remember when I was a kid, and the old heads would be like, "You just don't know," Do you feel like it's a generational thing, and it's always like that?
It is, but I think with this sport should be a little different because it is still relatively new.
Yeah.
It's one thing when you're playing football and you don't know who somebody is from the 40s. Yeah. But I mean, UFC is, it's still relatively kind of new. Like there's not a lot of separation.
30 years old, right?
30 years old. It's not that, it's not that old to not know some of the pioneers and some of the history of it. In fact, so like the UFC actually, they're just starting a new podcast called The Glory Days, in which they're actually going to, shining some light on some of the older fights.
That's good.
Yeah.
But those glory days weren't that long
ago.
And
I know that's the problem, is that they're not that long ago, but they have to do it because like most people might have gotten to the UFC like during COVID.
Yeah.
And that's wildly remarkable to me.
That's such a skewed time too. There's a lot of, God bless everybody that got a chance. I'm in. If you get in the UFC, you get to prove yourself then. Mm-hmm. But man, just the people that were just like, I'm ready.
Yeah.
Oh, he got sick. I'm ready.
Yeah.
And the common fan doesn't know if that's a good fighter or not.
Exactly, right? Because like they were just throwing guys in who could be ready in the time that they needed.
And
them
not
to be
that
ready.
they didn't. Some people certainly rose to the occasion. So I don't mean it as a diss to them.
Right.
But there were some real good fighters that didn't get in. While these kids that would just scrap. I'm
for sure.
Ready,
I know. So it's kind of a disservice to the sport for fans that got in during that time because, that's not long ago at all.
No, it's not. And now it's harder to get in. It's only not the Ultimate Fighter,
the Contender Series.
Yeah. To get in the UFC is, god dang. And now there's no Bellator, right? And the PFL is on one wobbly leg.
You know what, man? But somehow that one wobbly leg is like that little wobbly wheel at Walmart. You know what I'm saying?
It hangs in there.
It's still hanging on. I don't know how. For years, I'm telling you, John, for years I've been saying, yo, the PFL's done. This is their last year. This is their last year. And yet they still another one. And I'm like, yo, how long can they keep this up? I want them to because my friends need jobs. Yeah, we need jobs. But, they have a responsibility.
Yeah.
They have a responsibility to the sport and to the fighters to do it the right way. And that's what upsets me is if they make an irresponsible decision, I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
why?
Yeah.
You know?
It just has cut down the job market so far.
Yeah.
You know, and then all those guys that are good in Bellator, because there's a lot of good people. There's just not the depth, right? There's instead of 15
Yeah,
really
for
great
sure,
fighters,
for sure.
there's
for sure.
3 or 4.
Right.
But still, those 3 or 4 times 8 divisions, that's a lot of bodies that need work.
A lot of bodies that need work. And I'm sure that for them, they got to be thinking the same way like us. Like, is this our last one?
Yeah.
And then if this doesn't work out, what do I do? Because there's such a drop off between UFC and then that level of like pay structure
Yes, sir.
to the next level. Like it's such a drop off. So what do you do if this doesn't work out? Do you, and you're at this level, do you go down here in terms of pay structure?
Yeah. You're back to your full-time job.
Yeah, you're back for sure.
Even at the base level, you're 10-10 or 12-12, and then you go back to 1-1.
Oof.
I mean, you can't even pay your car and your phone bill, probably.
Yeah,
if you have a bad fight.
I mean, it's almost like, do you just retire at that point?
And I've had a couple of guys that's a hard truth just staring at them.
Are you honest with your guys like that?
I have to let them get there themselves. I mean, I can't. I was thinking about you and listening to you talk about coaching because you're a little bit more hard line than me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I respect that. I like it. But I can't get there. I feel awkward about it. So when you talk, I listen and present the options, and then they have to decide.
You know, it's funny because like in my life, I tiptoe around a lot of things. You know, I'm not very confrontational and I try to be diplomatic, but in terms of like fight decisions and careers, I'm very black and white and honest with guys.
Do you think you're ever wrong with that? Like, because that's my worry is that I'll be like, man, you need to retire. And they don't. And then all of a sudden they hit a bump and they're going.
Well, I know, and that will be the bad part, right? So I'll say it. I'll let them know. I go, it's not looking good for you.
Yeah.
Like that's how honest I'll be. And then I'll also say, if you want to still try to do it, I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I'll help you still try to do it, but it's not looking good. Yeah. I'll be that honest with them.
And I guess I'm right, like a half notch below that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, just the blatant like,
and
hey,
it's hard too because you care about them.
Yes.
And you don't want to tell them that truth. Like, man, it's not going to work out.
You know, I listened to you do a podcast with a coach, and I don't remember what his name, white guy with a beard, and he was talking about being buddy with your team, right?
Yeah.
And he was talking more in terms of a team sport.
Mm-hmm.
It is hard not to be buddy and feel for your guys. I mean, yes, we're in a position of authority, and they listen and respect us, but you love them like they're family.
I know, and I know for you it's hard because your environment of guys are like homegrown and they've been with you for a long time. And
yes, sir.
For me, it's not always that way. Sometimes, you know, they'll bring me in to do some polishing, so I'm not always connected to people.
Does that help being?
It helps me a lot. Because I hate it. I hate it because, and I know, and that's why I have a lot of empathy for you to be going on these fights with these guys because you know what's at stake. Like you're with them every day and you're with their families, and you know a loss could be devastating, and like that hits you hard.
Hard.
For me, it's like, okay, next up.
Man, we got to work on this.
Yeah. For me, yeah, exactly. Like for me, it's all business. Like it's pretty much all business. It's you lost because of this, so let's go back and fix it. Yeah. I don't care about your wife is crying right now. Like, let's go back and fix these things. But for you, I get it, man, because your fighters are so attached, and that's hard.
I literally get texts from wives after the fight. Is he okay?
Oh,
is he
no,
right?
that would drive me nuts. That would drive me nuts. I don't envy you for that. But in certain levels, I do, because having those relationships are really what the sport is about.
I think being human, right?
Yeah, right.
It's all about, for me, it's all about relationships. But I was interested to hear that coach mention that because I don't have that. I'm not at that next. There's not that much space between me and my boys, me and my girls. Like I am closer than what that guy would think would be the optimum.
Yeah, and that's tough. Yeah. But I guess you got to appreciate that though. Like because it's already there, you don't want to be like, all right, guys, I'm no longer coming over to hang out with you guys, or we're not having this pizza party anymore.
Yeah.
But
well, and it's not quite that close, but like There's been 25 or 30 people that have started as amateurs with us and ended up in the UFC. Some of them are still there. Mario Bautista
Yeah.
came as an amateur. Sugar Sean O'Malley came as an amateur. Ben Henderson came as an amateur. You know, like we got all these guys and built them. Jose Delgado that fights this weekend, he's an amateur.
Yeah.
So I love that. I find that has as much value in my life as a man as anything I've ever done.
Well, props to you for that, because that says a lot about your coaching, your culture, your structure to be able to take guys from amateurs. Because that's always my biggest criticism with a lot of the super gyms, so to say, is it. And I'm not criticizing the super gym, because like that's just what the super gym
those
is
are
there
great
for.
people,
It's just what they're there for. It's to, again, polish, because that's what I do, right? I help polish guys, but to be able to take fighters from amateur that know nothing to something, I mean that's an incredible thing to do, and to do it consistently like you have says a lot.
Well, we still have more too. I got a whole batch coming up that are good and hungry, and you know, Bryce Meredith 7-0 bantamweight, Vinny Diaz 6-0 bantamweight. Like there's a whole bunch of them just flying up the ranks. So hopefully we'll keep doing it. How did you get started into coaching? Were you an athlete?
No, I wasn't actually. I was in fact, like coaching just became like coaching. There was not a lot of separation from me between coaching and teaching.
Yeah.
Because being in the mid 90s doing this, you had to start teaching.
Yeah.
Because you needed guys to work with. So it was like we're watching videotapes together. you know the days you got your Henzo Gracie Craig Kukok videotape, you got your Mario Sperry instructionals, VHS tapes, and you're learning like in the backyard and wherever you can work. Yeah. And then you're teaching guys how to do it so that you can have people to work with. So and then I started teaching out of a karate school, so I had more guys to work with. Then I opened up a gym with some guys, and I'm teaching as I'm fighting. And it was a natural thing to be a teacher and a fighter at the same time.
Do you have a role model, a guy that you maybe admired as a coach, or somebody that taught you, or just do it on the fly and figure it out?
Just do it on the fly and figure it out. Like there wasn't a lot of other people out there doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, obviously you could take stuff from just different areas of teaching or just any educational system. And then just reading a lot. Like I read a lot now.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I read a lot. I read a lot of books on education and learning, how to learn and things like that. So I'm always trying to increase my knowledge. And I think that's the one thing that, especially in like boxing, in terms of combat sports, especially in boxing, there's just not a lot of growth in terms of coaching.
Yeah.
It's so antiquated. This is the way I did it, so this is the way you have to do it. This is the way this champion did it, so this is now you have to do it. But that doesn't mean that it was right. So for me, it's always about it evolving as a coach and trying to find better ways to do things and not just do them because they've always been done a certain way.
Yeah. I heard you talk about growth and how important processes are for you, not just in fighting, but in your acting too.
Yeah.
But I feel like that too. I'm always looking. Every time I go backstage at the UFC, I watch everybody do everything.
And I'm telling you, that's going to be the reason why you stay successful and current and relevant. I've been and I saw him yesterday, man. I said, I hope this comes out. I hope he sees this. I saw Eugene Berriman, and I just want to make sure that I'm very accurate and clear about what I'm trying to say. And I saw Eugene Berriman yesterday. I'm like, man, he's going to beat me up because I've always said that I think those guys in New Zealand, they need to bring in some help.
Yeah.
Because they're so far away and they might not be getting information fast enough, which is why could be a drop in their team, right? So like as a team, like at one point you had like all these guys, Izzy and Volk was spending a lot of time there, and Hooker and Brad Riddell, and then they just kind of kind of went down. And I think that's the result of not having enough information coming in.
Yeah.
And I saw him yesterday. I'm like, oh, man, he's going to beat me up. He's thinking I'm talking shit about his team. And it's not that I'm talking shit about his team, but I think that they're just so closed off to the world that they're not getting information from other people. And I think everybody needs that.
Yeah. Well, and they have such a tight culture there, too.
Right.
Those boys love each other, and they love their coach, and I love that. But you do have
to have outside influence.
You have to be critical of your own process the whole time.
Always, right?
Like literally, we'll be on the plane home and I'll be like, hey, what was good about this? What went wrong? How did we handle this? what could I do better for you?
You know, does that for Eric Nixick hits me up after he doesn't do it as much anymore, but almost every fight he'd hit me up and be like, yo, what did we do wrong? What could we have done better? Yeah. And I'd always be honest with him. I'd always tell him because and you can do it too. Like I'd always be honest because I feel as though MMA is going to be a better place when fighters are better.
Yeah.
And coaching is better.
Well, we got to evolve. We got to be, I don't want to lose.
Right.
Like I want to win every fucking fight we have. So I want to know. I don't want it to be a secret. Me feel all good sitting there until I fall off the chair, you know?
Just going back to the gym going, oh man, you need to run more. You know, you need to be in better shape. I'm like, yo, that's not the answer, man.
No.
I've never seen a situation, unless a guy is just totally out of shape, that's never the case.
No.
We blame it on that because it's apparent we see one guy get tired, but like there's a long list of things that they could have done differently would have avoided them getting tired, and they didn't do it.
Yeah. You were talking about, I heard you talk about that, taking somebody out of their comfort zone, and that affects their cardio a lot.
Yes.
So if you have a great guard and I play in your guard, you might never get tired.
You never get tired, right.
But if I make you stand up and wrestle me, all of a sudden you can only do 2 minutes of that.
Right, for sure,
Yeah.
for sure.
And that's what good fighters should do.
Right.
You should take the guy where he's not comfortable.
And that's the key. And that's what makes Merab so fascinating as a fighter because he's never uncomfortable.
No.
Hard to make him uncomfortable. I've never seen him uncomfortable.
He's an odd little guy. I love him.
Yeah.
Just his movement, he doesn't care. He doesn't get it. You know how you go, oh, you stopped that takedown twice, and he'll get tired. Rob, that isn't even started the conversation yet. He's not even out of the car.
I think it's almost expected for him.
Yeah.
I think because he's such a wild card and maybe he didn't wrestle at the highest level, that he's just like okay with missing takedowns. Yeah. Because imagine if you're Bo Nickel and you're going, oh, I'm taking these guys down easy, and then you start missing takedowns, that's going to affect you psychologically.
Yeah.
But for Merab, no problem.
Just another day, baby.
Another day, man. I'm used to missing takedowns. I'm used to this.
Did you wrestle at all?
I didn't wrestle. No, I didn't wrestle.
How did that? In the early days of MMA, it didn't matter as much.
No, it didn't matter as much. You didn't have. In fact, like jiu-jitsu was what you needed. Like that was the base.
How do you feel like jiu-jitsu is nowadays? Like I heard you talk about just the recent fight with Usman just fought.
Oh, with Buckley.
Buckley.
Yeah.
Yeah. How had he invested in developing a really scary guard? How maybe that could have changed his luck in that fight.
For sure.
What do you think?
I think and I was just talking to Renato Canuto about this because he
was another monster.
He's a monster for sure, and he wants to do MMA. I said, well, you know what? Your jiu-jitsu is better than probably everybody else's. MMA and the jiu-jitsu and MMA is trash. It really is trash. It just got so watered down because of wrestling culture, and because wrestling culture. There was a time where it stopped all jiu-jitsu. That jiu-jitsu people said, all right, well, we just need to get better at wrestling and striking. And then the development and evolution of jiu-jitsu for MMA stopped, completely just stopped. So it was automatically just, you get taken down, get back up as fast as you can. Yeah. So the guard game just was nullified and it stopped and no one started developing processes of it. So when you think about a guy like Joaquin Buckley, like his guard was...
No, he didn't.
Is non-existent. No. Like it was not. Now I'm not asking a guy like Joaquin Buckley to be out there playing spider guard and trying to learn gogoplatas, but just being a little bit more effective off of his back and maybe having a couple tricks up his sleeve, a couple good chokes to make a guy not want to take you down. Yeah. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah. The Hamzat Gilbert Burns fight is the one that pops into my mind.
Do you remember when Hamzat got on top of Gilbert and he felt Gilbert's hips move?
Yeah, and
he got up.
Right back up.
Yeah, he got that was the takedown defense.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one, but it's not a lot of cases like that. So it's hard to really convince other people this theory because it's only like that case. So you go, what's the case study of it? And I go, well, look at that one. And everybody's like, no, forget about it.
Well, it was an anomaly. I mean, if you can get up well, it's either the guy wins if he can hold you there, or if you're a good Jack Della Maddalena, who did a great job against Bilal getting up, though I think Bilal should have wrestled him a lot earlier and a lot more frequently. But
For sure.
But he got up and he ended up, that fight went his way instead of Bilal's way. developing that in between game is hard. I find that we drill get ups more than we almost do anything, in our game. If we have a striker,
Right.
right. But for the wrestlers too, we're going to work on get ups so they get used to how to break down those get ups and keep the guy controlled.
Well, I always felt, and I'm thinking about it like this too, is that it's accepted in MMA today if you are attempting to get up, but you give up your back and you get ridden out for 3 minutes, that's okay. But don't stay on your back for 3 minutes and try to do submissions.
That is a weird thing.
That's a weird thing to me.
Yeah.
Because in my mind, I'm thinking, always keep a person in front of you and always be attacking.
Yeah.
But you have to have a skill set for that. You have to be good at that. But the anomaly, the only person that we allowed to do that in MMA is Charles Oliveira. Everybody else is like, nope, you're not good enough to do it.
Yeah.
And they're probably not. They're probably not. But that's a deficiency in the game, not in the tactic itself.
Yeah. Well, it's hard to get to that reward. Like the investment is long.
Yeah. And I talked to RJ Clifford about this, and he said it's probably just because it's harder to do that.
Yeah. Well, and how many times, I remember I took a private with Helson Gracie, and I was like, man, how do you pass the guard in MMA? He's like, you don't. You stay in there and you beat the shit out of
Helson Gracie said that?
Helson Gracie
That
told
is
me that.
brilliant. I love the fact that he addressed that. Yes.
And because he's not nervous about your little guard,
Yeah.
my little guard.
Right.
He's like, whatever, you do whatever you want, I'm going to kill you. And I think that's how people feel on the bottom, is that they don't have an answer.
Right.
So they feel that pressure coming from strikes, those elbows that come down, terrifying. And so you turn your back, and at least you're not going to get elbowed in the back of the head or kneed because of the rule set.
Right, for sure.
Yeah.
But I also think that that's another deficiency in the game too, is it top ground and pound. Like, not a lot of guys are all that good at that. So it really just comes down to, all right, I'm going to take you down, and you're going to try to get back up. Then I'm going to hard, and honestly, more than anything else, it's boring.
Yeah.
It's boring to watch. It's not only just ineffective in terms of offense and defense, it's just boring to watch. So I don't even teach that. Like when I'm working with fighters, I don't work them positions at all.
No.
No.
What do you do with them? What happens when they get to those fights? Oh, they're fighting off their backs?
Yeah.
Or
fighting off your back until you get up.
Right.
But there's never going to be a time where you're like sacrificing and then giving up your back and then trying to cut hands and then getting dumped again. And then, no, I'm just like, dude, you're better off on your back being offensive.
Yeah.
But again, it comes down to a skill set. You have to have that skill set. That's why it's hard for me to work with like just straight wrestlers, because like they're just not comfortable there.
No, and won't be.
And they'll never be, and they'll never buy into it.
No.
Yeah.
I have a guy, Livio Ribeiro, who's a black belt world champion, and he's a 4-0 25-pounder, and I cannot get his ass to wrestle up, boy. And he's scary in his guard, but we just fought.
But he needs to learn how to wrestle
He
up.
has
Yeah.
to. We just fought some kid, and Livio caught him again and again and again and stuff. And the kid just muscled out of it and stayed there. We won the fight, but that's a frustrating example of, if it's important, you could lose that fight.
Right.
Depending on how it's being judged.
But that's my thing, though. It's not more important to stay on your back. It's equally important to be able to get up.
But combining those
Yeah,
two
but
skills.
but having a combination of that. So it's equal to me. It's equal. So, but it's not. But not at the detriment or not at the expense of giving your back up and not being offensive. Like I just don't find that very effective at all.
Yeah. What do you think when they, like, I don't mind it. I guess it depends who you are. If you got Marab on your back, he's going to dump you 1,000 times. But when they're standing and you have the fence, it's kind of easy. Not easy, but it's easier to cut your elbow back.
Yeah.
Get to facing him again.
Right.
Is that just kind of one of those things that ends up, if you've done the right thing up to there, you're good with it?
Yeah, I'm okay with that. And it's like, for me, I'm okay with all of it. It's just, I'm always looking for like perfect world situations of where we can still always be offensive.
I like that.
Like I'm just always looking for ways to be offensive. And if somebody's on your back, you just can't be offensive.
No, you're trying to get away so you can be offensive.
Right.
Right.
And if you're not good at that, then it's boring and you're never going to be offensive.
Yeah. How did you use jiu-jitsu in your career? Do you felt like, were you a jiu-jitsu fighter?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I got a lot of crap for it too, because I was willing to pull guard to try to submit somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was, And I think also too injury kind of helped with that too, because like I had a bad knee, so like wrestling was hard for me. So it was like, you know what, it's just easier for me to like try to pull guard and submit people, and it worked a lot until I got to a certain level, and it didn't work. And then I had no support or people going, man, maybe try do something a little.
Were you kind of coaching yourself?
Yeah, and I was coaching myself through it. And I think that's why I spent the last decade really focusing on being a good bottom player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You started 12-1 though.
Yeah,
And you did that yourself?
Yeah.
No coaches, just you.
No coaches.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
So you're the one that booked Cal Uno at 5 fights in
Yeah,
shootout.
100%.
So it's your fault.
That was my fault. 100%.
I looked at that.
I went to Japan by myself.
Oh man. You're crazy.
100%. I went there by myself, man. And I met I don't know if you remember this, it's an old school cat named Ryan Bowe.
I don't know.
He was a black dude, and he was a great fighter in Japan. And he fought in shooter, and he lived in Japan, spoke Japanese, and I met him there, and he kind of helped me out when I got there. But I went to Japan by myself to fight Cal Uno. And I look back and I'm like, what was I thinking?
Yeah, but I mean, what a great fighter you were. How amazing that you got to where you got, 12-1.
Yeah, I mean, I look back and I think it's crazy, but then I also think, you know what? I mean, it's taking chances like that get you further in life.
It's hard to do nowadays, don't you think? Like, you have a certain window sometimes to get into UFC.
Yeah.
Man, if you get that loss, you're looking at 4 or 5 more fights. And,
I know, especially depending on the weight class too.
And then you're not making any money.
Right.
You know, and it's like, holy cow. It's so risky. I agree with you. I love that the old school guys have these speckled records, I guess, you know. There's losses in there, but there's losses to Cal Uno.
Right.
Did you know his first fight was Mock Sakurai?
Was it really?
Yeah, I was looking it up this morning. Man, he was good. I see his record. He fought Mock Sakurai in his first fight.
In fact, Uno was the second option for me in Japan.
Who was the first?
A couple months prior to that, like 6 months prior to that, they offered me Mock Sakurai. And I said yes, but I didn't have a passport.
Oh.
Yeah, and so then it didn't work out. I was like, damn, I'm so glad I didn't take
I'll
that
fight
fight.
all of you all.
Yeah.
Just bring them all. Just line them up.
I was like, yo, I'm so glad they didn't give me that fight because he would have probably kicked my head off my shoulders.
He's tough, man.
I know. He was like, Uno was good, but he wasn't a power puncher. And I knew that.
Yeah.
But Uno taught me a lot about just tactics and strategy and just being in there with him. It felt like he was so smooth and so comfortable. Guy. Yeah. And I felt so finessed. I was like, man, I never felt that before. Yeah.
That is awesome. You made your UFC debut right after that?
No, I think I had a couple of fights. So the Uno fight was really early.
Right, that was your 6th fight.
Yeah, that was my 6th fight. And then I actually beat Jens Pulver and
that's right.
Yeah, and I had a gang of fights, and they offered me the UFC to fight Jens in the rematch for the UFC lightweight title.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I turned it down.
Oh, but you took Cal Uno.
No. I turned it down because I wanted to fight in Super Brawl in Hawaii against Stephen Pauling.
And how did that go?
I won that.
See?
I won that.
So good.
But I'm just thinking in like decisions, right?
Yeah.
Like, could you imagine? Like, I could have been the first UFC champ. I had an
well, then you got
that.
BJ Penn after that.
Yeah, and BJ wasn't the first option either. It was Genki Sudo.
Oh.
So Genki Sudo was my first option, and he got hurt like 2 or 3 weeks before the fight, and then they brought BJ in.
Had BJ already gotten the title?
Yeah, no, he wasn't the champion. He had only had one MMA fight against Joey Gilbert.
Huh. That is early.
He fought Joey Gilbert in the UFC, and they brought him in on 3 weeks' notice to fight me, and we know how that went. That didn't go too good for me. I was like, oh no, I thought he was a jiu-jitsu guy.
Gosh, he had some hands back in the day, didn't he?
And no one knew, right? No one knew that. And like even so, looking back at his Joey Gilbert fight, like he had hands, but I chalked it up as like luck.
Yeah, Joey Gilbert's not that good.
Yeah, that's what we chalked it up as. It's like, yeah, but this is Joey Gilbert. He's not very good.
Hey, BJ, I heard you say you think he's the greatest of all time.
I think he's the greatest lightweight of all time.
Wow. What's your list? Who's on that? Do you know? You ever think about that? First of all, the greatest of all time lists are tough.
Yeah.
And I kind of am against them.
Right.
But I love hearing about good fighters and how you think about them. So I asked that with a little asterisk by it. But what do you think? How do you compare generations like that?
It's hard to compare generations, but you can kind of do it if you do it in relative to their level of competition.
Yeah.
So when you think about, everybody likes to say Habib, and that's the easy answer because Habib retired undefeated. But when you think about his level of competition and how many times he did it, it wasn't that much.
No.
It wasn't a lot, right? I'm thinking BJ because when you think about what BJ was doing to the next best guy under him, like when you see BJ and Diego Sanchez, because Diego was like the next best guy, or Sean Shirk, who was the next best guy, or Kenny Florian, who was the next best guy. He annihilated those guys.
Yeah.
It wasn't even close.
Yeah.
And then he goes up to welterweight and beats
Matt Hughes.
So it's like, it's hard to really say that any other lightweight was better than that based on him beating the next best guy as easy as he did and as violently as he did.
Yeah.
So that's the only way I can judge it. So actually somebody asked me my list and they were like, well, where does Charles rank on the list if he wins against Ilya and wins his belt back? And I was like, honestly, probably behind Benson Henderson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, Charles, he's great. I like him, but the early career you have to take in. If you're talking about that long of a career, you have to take in some of the things he did early, and not so good. You know, he's had a great run, and now those guys, him and Dustin, Justin, they kind of can pick and choose each other. It's a weird hierarchy, and they don't have to fight the young, tough guys.
See, that's the thing too, because when you can cherry pick that way and fight when you want, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to fight now because I'm a star and I fight when I want to fight and I fight who I want to fight.
Yeah.
You can cherry pick.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to take a couple of points off for that.
Yeah. I like Habib. I would have liked to see. I mean, he should do what he wants. I loved watching him, but I wish he would have defended his title a few more times, and that would have been different for me. You know, because it's hard for me. I know he was 29-0. I think he's great, but he didn't defend his title that many times. He really didn't.
How many times did he defend it?
I think 3. He's tied with Frankie and Benson, and maybe BJ too. I think all 4 of those guys had it until Islam. I think Islam broke it in his last fight.
It's just honestly, Islam might be the guy, but it's just hard to really say that because he's not really all that popular, and it's just hard to really say it and take yourself seriously when you say Islam's the greatest lightweight of all time.
Yeah. How do you any greatest of all time discussion, basketball, football, whatever you like, it's so hard because emotions are involved.
That's my point. Yeah. Like you don't have an emotional connection to Islam.
No.
Like you have one to Habib.
Yeah.
You have one to I even used to think Frankie Edgar was.
Yes.
Because I had an emotional yo, Frankie, man, he was the dude when he was the dude. Yeah. But then Islam, you're just kind of like, man, like his record speaks for itself, which is better than everybody else's, but there's no emotion to it.
Yeah. And that's what makes it hard, I think, besides separating the years, you know?
Yeah.
After Ben had beaten Frankie a couple of times and we beat Nate and Gilbert, I wanted BJ. Mm-hmm. But we saw him fight Rory McDonald, and I was like, oh.
Nah, you can't fight him now.
I didn't feel like we could, you know, because he just wasn't BJ anymore.
Right.
You know, we just missed it by a couple of years. Frankie got the end of the prime BJ. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. He did.
And Frankie's great. I love the guy. He's a great competitor. But I was just curious what you thought of that.
Yeah, I do have Benson on there because I did that list the other day, and I had Benson somewhere around 4 maybe.
Yeah.
Because I had BJ, and then I think I had Islam, then Habib, and then probably Benson, and Benson. It sucks because like Benson don't really get the respect. It's hard. It's just hard now because it's such a "what have you done for me lately" game, and that's why I get so mad at the game because we don't really pay homage to the old heads like we used to.
Yeah.
Like we should, like they deserve.
Yeah. I do think it's common in every sport. You know, who was it? It's Cam Scatterbo. He just got drafted, and he's a running back, this kid.
Yeah.
And they showed him Calvin Johnson, who's that wide receiver for the Detroit Lions, Hall of Fame, massive 6'6", like they called him Megatron.
I remember him.
Kid had no idea who he was. and he just got roasted. But they don't.
They just don't. Yeah.
They're just trying to get good at their sport, and their peers are their role models, and not necessarily.
I think because when we were growing up, we didn't have so much access to so many people, so we had to look up to, like, if you played football and you're a wide receiver, you had to look up to Jerry Rice because we didn't have access to anybody else.
Yes, sir. I think that's right, and that's hard. We don't, like, now you got daily access to everybody.
Yeah,
you get to see everything,
and that's why I'm not on social media as much.
That's just smart.
It's too much. It's too much.
Do you think it is for fighters? Like, I feel like it's kind of a detriment.
It's a big detriment.
Yeah, Conor started this weird thing. Now, Conor did all the work, and he proved it every time he went out, for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody sees that, and they're like, yeah, I'm going to be like Conor. And they just start talking shit without the skills to back it up.
I brought that up yesterday when we were talking about the glory days, because we watched UFC 189 in which Conor fought Mendes. And looking back, it's different watching it today than when we watched it before, because in the scene, like when you are in the scene like we are, right? You saw Conor back then, and everybody was like, "Oh, he's not that good."
Yeah.
And we made, every time he won, we made excuses for it. Oh, he's still not that good.
Yeah.
But looking back at it now, I'm like, man, the casuals had it right, man. He was good.
Yeah. Well, his ability to take hold of the spotlight and be the best he could be.
Yes.
Is an amazing.
That's a skill in itself.
Dude. That is the thing.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like, everybody's good in the gym.
Yeah. But
he was good. And watching him fight Chad Mendes, man, he walked him down. Like, he wasn't running from the wrestling. No. And that's what we said. We said, oh, wait till Conor gets a wrestler. So what they do? They bring in Chad Mendes 2 weeks before the fight. Oh, this is the guy. He walked him down.
Yeah.
He got taken down, got back up, and continued to walk him down.
The fact that he was able to out cardio Chad was weird.
Yeah.
And this, because Chad beat him up bad for
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
He was getting beat and still was talking trash and still knocked him out.
And that's the thing. That's a guy that put in all the work, and he had the personality. I always felt like he was genuine even when he was talking shit.
Yeah.
Even when I didn't like it.
Right.
I was like, that's him.
Right.
Like, he's just being him. And nowadays people are just trying to mimic.
That's the problem. Is that he created this culture of bad replications of him. I mean, it's actually kind of disgusting because they're bad at it, or they only think that they can get popular by doing that.
Yeah, I think that's what they think.
Right.
That this is the way.
Yeah, this is the way.
Like, this is how I'm going to get good. It's not how you're going to get good.
No, and it's not how you're going to get famous neither. You're just going to annoy a bunch of people.
That's crazy. Well, it's hard. I find that social media kind of exacerbates that problem. Everybody's taking pictures and through these cool filters, and they look like the photos of Roger Staubach to me. Like, when I was a kid, I'm like, oh, that's a hero. And they think they're heroes of their story. They haven't had a story yet.
Right. Well, and that's what I like about the UFC and the UFC's business model now, because they will check you.
Yeah, they will.
The UFC will check you. Yeah. But the thing is, like, these guys, they go, man, they taking the pictures and they with the killers and they the greatest at all time. Then the UFC says, all right, I got to fight for you. And then all of a sudden they're like, nah, I don't.
Elbow.
Yeah, my elbow. I can't fight right now. Yeah. The UFC will check you and they will let you know right away, are you him or not?
Yeah.
And some people step up to it and show that they him, and some don't. And that's what I like about the UFC's business model, is that you think you're the greatest, they're going to give you a short notice fight that you got to prove it. And most guys can't do it.
Yeah, it's true. It's hard. I mean, it's a big stage. It's a bright stage. And if you're not him, then you'll find out pretty quick.
Yeah, you find out pretty quick. And as bright as it is, man, it gets even brighter sometimes. Like when you saw like Cyril Gane fold to John Jones. I watched that, man. I watched a really good fighter just fall apart because Tom Brady and Donald Trump was in the crowd.
Yeah. That's a skill in itself, though, right?
Yeah.
Like, kind of compartmentalizing what you're doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
There's a story about Joe Montana, who's the 49ers quarterback, and they had 2 minutes left, and they're against Cincinnati, and they were on their own 3-yard line, and one of his offensive linemen's just like tight as a drum, like, oh, we're gonna win. And Joe looked over and he goes, hey, man, isn't that John Candy? The offensive lineman looked over like, I guess. And he was like, he was cool as a
As
cucumber.
cool as a cucumber, huh?
He was right in the moment.
Yeah.
And they went down and won the game.
Went down. So that's just.
Some people can be in there and go, yeah, it's Tom Brady, and then be ready to do their job.
Well, John Jones was good at that. I think that might have been one of John Jones's best skill sets.
He created chaos in people's minds.
Yeah.
He made people like just bouncing all over the place in their
Bouncing
heads.
all over the place, and then just being able to perform under the biggest moments and the most pressure, and just making guys nervous, and him just taking advantage of it. But that's a skill. Like I can't hate him for that. Like that was a part of his skill set, which was already great.
Yeah. And the farther we got into sort of social media and exposure, he got better and better at it.
I know,
honestly,
for sure.
Other than we can watch him in his personal life too, which isn't so positive for him all the time.
But it is entertaining.
So who's your favorite? Do you have a favorite fighter? Who did you like to watch? Like if you had to, I know one's not it, but
no, so like right now, I'm really enjoying, and I'm so happy he's getting an opportunity to fight again. Joshua Van, I'm enjoying this kid.
Yeah,
I enjoy him.
Feel like he's gonna rise up in the moment. He seems so young to me.
I don't know. That's the problem. Is that I think I love his skill set. I just don't know if he's gonna be able to handle it.
Yeah,
Royval's
such a squirrely.
Yeah,
throws weird stuff at you at weird angles. You know,
even like I said, I enjoy it. I can't imagine him fully handling it.
Yeah.
So I'm not putting any expectations, but I enjoy watching him fight.
Well, maybe this is his Max Holloway, Conor McGregor. You know, he goes in and he loses, but it shoots him to higher levels.
I can see that happening.
You know what I mean?
I can definitely see that happening. There's a lot of fighters I like watching, man. But it's Marcus McGee.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah,
Maniac's a stud.
Yeah, I like him.
He was an amateur too.
Yeah,
when
was he?
Came to my gym.
Yeah. And this is a big moment for him with a guy who really is going to have to bring out his best. Yeah. And that's a blessing, right? To have that type of fight in front of you where you're just like, man, you can't make a mistake.
Yeah. Marcus is excited about the chance, and he's thinking of it like you just said it. It's a blessing.
Yeah.
How great is this that I get a chance to fight? For me, Peter Yan was the best bantamweight for a long time, and just because of the mistake he made with Aljamain, and then just some of the choices, you know, like. But he's as good as anybody.
I know.
Any given day, that guy can beat anybody in the world in his weight class, and so we're really looking forward to that. And Marcus, you would love him. I don't know if you know him, but he's such a great guy, such a cool person, energy, all about his teammates and raising everybody up.
No kidding. See, yeah, I've had a couple conversations with him, but not like that. But I get it. And I think that's why I like him so much. He seems humble, and he seems grateful for where he is.
100%. You'd love him.
Yeah.
You guys would get along great.
Yeah.
He's cool. Yeah, I'm excited about his chances. And, you know what's funny about that? That was just thinking about good fighters that you like and you don't like. Him and Mario are both in the same gym, right? Mm-hmm. And it's just funny that Mario gets a little bit of a damper from the UFC, where Marcus is getting a little bit of a shine, and they're literally right next to each other.
Yeah.
You know, and how I'm not saying it's anybody's fault, but it's a weird thing to deal with. You're kind of behind the scenes with them. Do you feel that, or is that just a personal thing for me? Like, these are my guys, and they're being treated different.
No, you know what it is, man. I think the UFC they kind of get a bad rap, and the UFC. While it's like when you see those three letters, it's like, okay, this is the UFC, and everything under it is like the umbrella. Like an umbrella is everything. So we tend to think that it's all like the UFC, but sometimes they have no idea that one person might feel like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, and this happens all the time. Like Aljamain will be like, yo, man, they didn't give me tickets after all I did for them. And it's like, dude, it's not even the same department. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, they had no idea that you did this stuff. In fact, so I commentated the UFC BJJ, and like Hunter had no idea that I did it. I saw him afterwards, and he was like,
well, it's a huge company.
Yeah, exactly, right? So like, while you might feel like Mario might feel like he's getting slighted and Marcus is like getting a little bit of rub, like there's probably not a lot of crossover there where they even recognize that that's happening or even know that they're even trained together. They might not even know that they train together.
Sean does.
Oh, well, Sean won't
because
know.
Kyler Phillips is in there too, and they've been worried about them bumping into each other in the top 15.
Yeah,
but for Mario, like he doesn't worry about it. It's more me.
Yeah,
The people around Mario are like got a mean look on their face, you know.
Well, Mario, I've always thought Mario was great,
Yeah.
and I just think that that loss or that win to Aldo
Yeah.
will haunt him.
Yeah.
It'll haunt him for a while until he does something like really great.
Yeah.
He's gonna have to like have he's got a oh snap moment where he knocks somebody out really bad.
Yeah.
To erase that.
Well, you know that's hard to do in the top 5.
It's hard. It's hard to
boys
do.
are good.
It's hard to do in the top 5, and even harder at that weight class.
Yeah.
So like he's probably never going to get that. So which means that he's going to have to just work harder.
Well, and he does. It's not going to hold him back.
Yeah.
But you know, as you see a friend of yours and you feel like they're being slighted,
Yeah.
they might be fine with it, and you're mad about it.
Well, I get that, man. But the thing is, like, that just puts him in a position. Well, it's going to have to put him in a position where he can't be denied.
Yeah.
Much like what we've seen Bilal Muhammad and then with Movsar. Like, these guys are in that position where they just couldn't be denied anymore. That's probably going to be Mario.
Yeah. Well, and that is what it is. The path we walk is we're good. We'll just embrace it, keep going. You talking about commentating the BJJ thing. You've done so much television work. Well, the UFC desk, also the ESPN stuff, and then you did Finding a Fighter.
You're looking for a fight.
Looking for a fight.
Looking for a fight, yeah.
How is that? How'd you get into all that? And do you like that?
No, so I love it now. You know, there was never a time where I wanted to be on the desk. But then now it's funny because like that's my favorite thing to do is to be on the desk and analyze the fights and talk about the fights and break them down and piss off fighters because they're like, oh, you said I was going to lose. I got receipts. And I'm like, all right, well, wait till you lose. When I say you're going to win, I got receipts. You know?
Yeah.
But no, I got into it because I was looking for a fight. And we were in Abu Dhabi and I was bike riding partners with one of the VPs. And I didn't know he was a VP. It was just, you know what I'm saying, just one of Dana's boys. And we was bike riding in Abu Dhabi because it was during COVID. It's the only way we can get exercise. And we would just talk about fights. And I would just break down different things for him. And he's like, dude, you should be on the desk. And I was like, I don't know. He's like, you want to try it? I was like, if you want, I'll give it a shot. Boom. Next thing I know, got on the gig and they sent me a contract.
Well,
My first gig sent me a
perfect.
contract. Yeah. And I think that's what it was too, was that, you know, they wanted to bring somebody on that's not, because, you know, MMA and fighting is already so like brutal. And the last thing they need is somebody on there that's like more brutal. And like I go in there and I smile and I do the song and dance, be happy, you know. So like I think they like that.
Yeah. I love watching you. You just did a movie too, right? What was it called?
Yeah, I got a couple film projects going on.
I saw you You did an interview with Ariel. What's the producer's name that was on there with you?
Oh, Rory Kampf.
Yeah.
He actually is the producer and director of Looking for a Fight.
And is he? Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, but he normally does documentary type stuff. He did a bunch of 30 for 30. I Hate Christian Leitner and Ric Flair, and he did like Coach Snoop on Netflix. So he's that guy.
Cool.
Yeah, and he does Looking for a Fight. But then he wanted to do his own narrative feature. So he asked me to be on there because, you know, I'm easy to work with. So he was like, and I'm cheap. So he's like, come on.
Could have been your skill set.
Yeah, could have been my skill set too. That didn't hurt. But yeah, so I ended up doing this movie with him with John Owen Lowe, who's Rob Lowe's son, if you're familiar with him from Brat Pack, and a couple other fantastic actors, Sean Kerrigan, Jim Parrick. And me and Aljo got a little spot on there.
How cool is that?
Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah.
How was Aljo? Was he good?
Yeah, Aljo's okay. Like Aljo wants. So here's the problem with most fighters is they don't see acting as an art like they do fighting.
Oh. No, it's like anything. You got to develop your skill set.
Yeah, and like if you're charismatic, you can kind of cheat it a little bit. So like, and I'm not saying he's not a great actor, not a good actor. I'm just saying like he just is like, you know, they just want to show up and get in front of the camera,
right?
And like, what are my lines? Yeah, it's a little different than that. Like you really have to commit to the character and learn about the character, and just acting is a skill like anything else.
You do stand-up comedy?
I have.
How terrifying is that?
It's not that bad.
Oh shit!
It's a lot worse. It's a lot worse in your head before you do it, but it's not that bad once you're up there.
Man, I'm sweating just thinking about it.
Yeah, I used to be that same way too. But that's so I'll get into that, how I first did it, because it always terrified me the same way. Like just thinking about standing on stage with a mic, trying to make people laugh. Well, this is how it happened. So I got the gig on Looking for a Fight because I'm coaching Amanda Nunes to fight Misha Tate. And it was on a Wednesday, and I get a call from a 702 number, and that's Vegas. I'm like, I don't know anybody in Vegas. Hang up. Boom. They call back. Hang up. I get a text message from Matt Serra. Hey, Dana's looking for you. I'm like, Dana? What's he want with me? Like, I ain't talked to Dana in like 5 years. This is, I'm out of the UFC. So then I end up calling Dana back. Dana, what's up, man? He said, you ever seen the show Looking for a Fight? I'm like, oh, yeah. I had never seen the show. never seen the show.
My favorite show.
Yeah, man, you kidding me? I love that show. Didn't even know it existed. But so he's like, yeah, man, we had a guy drop out. So do you want to give it a shot? You want to come on the show with us? Me and Matt. I was like, dude, are you kidding me?
Say less.
Yes, I was like, he said, kick is you got to leave tomorrow. I said, man, my bag is packed already. Just send a ticket. And there it was. Left on a Thursday. We started filming on Friday. Shoot was Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. On Saturday, here was the thing. We had to do stand-up comedy at the Laugh Factory.
Oh, my gosh.
Dean, you're on the show, but you got to write a 3-minute set at the Laugh Factory. David Spade is headlining. Yeah. It was a whole thing, and I was like, wait a minute. It's Wednesday. You need me to write a set for Saturday? I was like terrified.
How long was it? How long was the set?
3 minutes.
That's forever.
It felt like 3 days.
Oh, my God.
But somehow I did it. I was able to pull it off, and I did it. And it was like, I mean, we might have got some sympathy laughs because,
Yeah.
but it wasn't as terrifying as I thought once I did it.
Well, that is as scary. Like acting, talking, I'm not scared of that. Getting up there cold with people, like I've seen some terrible scenes with hecklers with really good comedians.
Yeah.
And they didn't do well. I'm going to end up throwing a chair at somebody, and that's going to be.
Well, I wasn't worried about a heckler at the time just because of the situation.
Oh yeah, set up.
But just going up there thinking, oh man, they're not going to like this, and I'm going to bomb, and this is going to be on TV, and like they're filming this, and everybody's going to watch me bomb. Like that was terrifying.
So what was your opener?
I can't even remember. Like
no?
I to this day, I wrote the set and then I threw it away. So like I don't even remember what the set was.
That's hilarious.
I don't even. But Matt Serra makes fun of me all the time because he's like, man, you just went up there and just dropped the N bomb over and over and over. I was like, I don't know, maybe I did. But then afterwards, I felt good about doing it, and then I did a few sets afterwards with Adam Hunter. I don't know if you're familiar. Yeah, yep. So Adam Hunter would put me on. When he would travel, he used to travel with the UFC and do a bunch of sets, and he'd put me on, and I'd go up and do a set.
Didn't they do that COVID show here? Adam Hunter did one, and they had a whole bunch of guys. I remember.
So he did that twice, but the very first one where they did a show, it was in Vegas. It was me, Chael Sonnen, and Henry Cejudo, and we all did a show, and that was fun. That was pretty cool too. So,
man, that's an amazing skill. And do you like it now?
I actually like it. I actually just was recently, like I still write like ideas, like in case I have to go up, I still write. So I actually thought about just like not doing it just in case. I actually thought about just pursuing it a little bit more. Yeah. Just because it's kind of fun.
Well, you have enough, like Adam Hunter, he's all.
Yeah, I have enough contacts that would just, if you want like I don't have to go through the channels like a real comedian. Like I can kind of get a hookup and be like, yo, let me get a 5-minute. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'm going. I'm going to record it too, so I'll know what your opener was.
I wish I remembered what the opener was, but I can't even remember what the opener was.
So did Sarah?
I always know what my closers are. All
right, hit me with the closer.
Well, the closer was it's a whole story. It's the story of how I got knocked out by BJ. That's the closer. It's me getting knocked out by BJ. Thinking that I'm going to win the fight.
That's not funny.
Yeah, no, it's actually pretty funny. Like thinking that you're going to win the fight and then then getting knocked out and like the experience, and I like kind of walk the audience through the experience of what it's like to get knocked out.
You wake up in the back.
That's
when
exactly.
do we go out?
Man, that's exactly what it was. When do we go out? That's exactly what it was. It was like, when you're down, you're looking up and you think you see God, like the light. No. Yeah. So yeah, it's actually pretty funny.
When you see your coach, you know things didn't go good. What are you doing in here? Yeah. Did Sarah do that stand-up too?
He did the stand-up too. He had a bit that he did about like Rocky. Oh. Like his whole bit was about like the Rocky series and how it changed from where she was supportive of him, and then she turns out that he like turns into just like some bitch. But it was really funny, and he didn't write like Matt Serra is just ungodly funny. He's the funniest person I know.
I heard you say that.
Yeah, he's the funniest person I know, and he's just so funny, just naturally funny. He doesn't write anything. He's just always just so sharp and just so good at humor that he just gets it.
The first time you met him was when you fought him, or did you?
No, we known each other. We had a little bit of a history before because his roommate was Rodrigo Gracie, and my roommate at the time was a dude named Paul Rodriguez, still in the game. He actually fought who did he fight? Tony. Well, I can't remember. He fought the same night I fought BJ, but so Matt Serra had beaten Paul Rodriguez in the ADCC trials to get to ADCC, and Rodrigo Gracie had broken my arm in a Naga back in like 2000. So like we had already been familiar with each other since like 2000. Yeah.
Wait, you beat 2 UFC world champions, and then Clay Guida too.
Yeah. So I always look at that. I go, yo, man, I got wins. I fought like 4 dudes in the UFC Hall of Fame and got wins over 3 of them.
Yeah. Like, let's talk about this.
I'm like, wait a minute. Why do I have to still prove myself to people?
We're going to walk through and just point.
Yeah.
I beat this cat.
Yeah.
But he's got to play. I beat this cat too.
Yeah, it's weird. I always still feel like people say, oh, coach. I always still see myself as a fighter first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you were a great fighter, man. That's a long and storied career. What was the deal with the mix-up in the scores with you and Sarah?
So, yeah, one of the judges, and this is why our scoring system sucks, but one of the judges actually he thought he was writing my score where his name was and thought he was writing his score where my name was, and he got it flip-flopped. And because it was a split decision, they announced Matt as the winner.
I'll bet you he was not happy.
He was not happy, no, because he wins, and then they didn't tell us till we got in the dressing room that it was a mistake. Like the judge fessed up. The judge easily could have just been like, "Oops," but he actually fessed up and was like, "Wait a minute, that wasn't who I."
The judge is like, "Well, it was pretty close."
Yeah, today they would have did that.
What a weird thing.
Yeah, the judges today would have been like, "Oh, no problem." But back then, wherever it was in New Jersey, and the judge fessed up and said, "Hey, that's not the score I had." And Dana came in the back like 20 minutes later, was like, "Hey, man, we messed up."
Take one of them checks from Sarah and
Yeah.
give it to you.
I can't imagine them taking a check from Sarah.
No.
They would have had to still pay him.
You would hope they would do the right thing.
I would hope. I never asked him if he got the win bonus for that, but I'm assuming that he did because he probably would still hate me to this day if they took his win bonus.
They'd sue you for the win check.
Yeah, that would. But that's the running joke, and that's why I got the tattoo. It says, "Hey Matt, I won" on my forearm.
Oh, I thought you were kidding about
No,
that.
that's a real thing. I got it. "Hey Matt, I won."
That is awesome.
But that's the running joke, because he'll always say, "Got my hand raised."
You watch the film. Who
Yeah,
won?
watch the film. Got my hand raised, and I'm always like, "Oh."
So what's coming up next for you? Like, what's the future hold? Well, I want to talk first, Jillian Roberts.
Okay, yeah.
You're working with those guys from Philly too?
Yeah, I do some work with the guys in Philly. John Marquez is my man. Sean Brady invited me to go over there like 2 years ago, and then we just kind of hit it off. Like I got roots in Philly, and in that area, so it just kind of worked out. But I'm really focused on Sean Brady and Joe Pyfer, but everybody else just kind of gets some of the residual effect.
Which is good.
Yeah, for sure. And then also it just still keeps me experimenting and in the lab and testing different theories out. But my primary fighter is Jillian Robertson, and that's because she's been with me since she was 15 years old. So
yeah, that's what. So you've been around together for a long time, and she's on a win streak now.
Yeah, she's on a win streak. It's just timing is everything in this game, and that was the one thing I tried. And fighters hate to hear this. Like they'll take a loss and they'll think it's over, and I go, "Nah, man, you might have needed that loss. It's not your time yet. And you have to go through these growing pains. It sucks, but it's not your time yet. Don't let it bother you, because in the future you'll learn to appreciate it, because you'll go, I needed that loss at that time to get where I am right now."
Yeah.
And we and her went through it. I'd always try to tell her, and she'd be like, "No," she'd be at that time, and I'm like, "No." It'd be so hard to talk to her at times, but now she realizes that this is the best time for her. Like, she's more mature now. She's the best she's ever been. She's willing to do more now than she would have back then.
Yeah.
So she's on a run, and I think that she
She
gets
top 15?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. I thought she was.
And she's they offered her a couple of good opponents to really give her a spot to go. All right, you win this one, you might get a title shot.
Yeah.
So, but the opponents actually said no.
Well, she's a tough draw.
Yeah.
She's physical and she's good. She's gonna be there, bring the fight.
Yeah. So we're just waiting for the opportunity. And the good thing about her, and you'd love her because she doesn't like we use the term camp just because that's what everybody uses, but camp is year round for her.
Yeah.
Like, in fact, like people will come in and they'll see her training and go, "She got a fight coming." I'm like, "No, this is what she does. This is what she does. Like, this is her life. This is what she does. Like, always learning, always trying to find different ways of doing things." Because I always tell her, like, listen, they're going to figure you out. They know what you want, so we got to be better. We got to find new ways of doing things.
As you get better, you're on tape more and more.
For sure.
And some smart people are watching, and they're going to figure out your stuff and have things to answer
for sure.
And so if you're not developing that, then you're going backwards. You're not even standing still.
Yeah, you're going backwards for sure. Yeah. And then you're going to get yourself in a hole, and you'll never win another fight again.
Yeah. Fucking tough. Well, that's cool. I love to see her. I didn't know you were as closely associated.
And that's what I said earlier, is that she's my one that's like, even the night before, I'm like, oh, man, we got to fight tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's my one, and that's enough for me. Like, because I've watched her since she was a little girl, and now she's she's a grown woman now, making a life for herself.
Really coming into her own too.
Yeah, coming into her own, and just as a fighter, as a human being, and just now she's a woman, and she's making really good decisions for herself, and not just based on emotion or these hasty decisions, but like really following her passion and doing the right thing. So.
Well, where do you see? Would you like to coach more? Or are you looking more towards TV and commentating? What's the future hold?
Oh man, I like to look at myself as just always being ready for whenever any call comes that's going to benefit me or just make me happy for the day.
I love that.
Yeah, like if somebody called me to commentate, hell yeah, let's go. If somebody called me for a movie, yeah, let's go. Like whatever it is, let's go.
I love that philosophy, I guess, for life,
Yeah.
Whatever's best, let's do it.
And just being ready, just being prepared, the cliche, luck is preparation meeting opportunity, but it's really true. Like just be, and that's the one thing I realized too, like people go, oh man, you're good. I'm like, I don't really think I'm that good at a lot of things. I just think that I'm better than other people that suck at it.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
I think that for me, just hearing you talk and doing a little research, your willingness to put genuine energy into what you're doing, and you're trying, like you're like, I'm gonna do it right. I'm gonna do it well.
Yeah.
I don't think it's luck. I think it is skill. That is a skill.
Yeah, and most people, they like to cheat their way to the top, cherry pick their way to the top, or they're not reliable, and it's just, to me, I like to work. I like to be enjoyable to work with. And I like to have fun whenever we're doing things, and I think that carries over well too. I get a lot of gigs just because people are like, "Oh man, he's fun to be around. Let's have him. Yeah, let's have him on set." I
love that.
Yeah,
man, I've enjoyed this a lot. You're an icon in this thing.
Well, man,
and
let's
not
do it
just
again.
in one area or the other. Like you were a really great fighter. You beat world champions. Like not a lot of people have that, and now you're a broadcaster. Stand-up comedian. Let's go ahead and throw that in there.
Yeah. Well, listen, anytime you want to do this again, you know what I'm saying, we in the area, or, however, if you need a guest one day, or if your guest cancels on you in 10 minutes, like, call me up, man. I might be ready.
This is how you're ready for it. You're always ready.
I'm always ready. I keep my stuff with me.
I love that.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Coach. You're the man.
All right, my man. Appreciate you.
Thank you, guys. We'll see you next time.
Bring the band in.